It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
In the extreme heat wave that we've been having this summer, people have to do some pretty incredible and extreme things in order to stay cool and survive. One of the things we haven't talked a lot about is what the fish have to do under these conditions in order to survive. And on today's show, we're going to talk about where the fish go, what they do, how you can find them, and how you can even catch some during a hot summer like we're having this year. Hi everybody, welcome into the show. And in the next half hour, we're going to be taking you out on Lake Ray Roberts. It's located up in North Texas near Sanger and Pilot Point. It's a good test tube to demonstrate what crappie in particular do under extremely hot conditions like the hot surface temperatures that we have in lakes all around our region. While I'm out on the lake showing you those things, we'll also be taking you around the region for your very latest fishing reports from your favorite lakes, rivers, and bays. Also this week on the Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week, I'm going to be showing you a pretty incredible fishery in Arkansas. If you haven't fished it, you need to give it a try. We'll show it to you a little later. We'll have your big catch of the week, big fish photos, your Ask the Pro answers to your fishing questions, and the Academy Right Stuff later on. So right now, the Nitro Z8 goes into Lake Ray Roberts. We'll tool around, see what we can find. And in the meantime, we're taking you back to the FSN studios. Here's all your data for your upcoming weekend fishing trip on the Chevy Weekend Planner.
Let's take a look at the Salooner tables to help plan your fishing trip for this weekend. Peak times during the day will start at 3:45 p.m. on Saturday and 4:35 p.m. on Sunday, while the best morning activity will take place a few hours before sunrise. Expect the sun to rise at 6:54 a.m. and set at 8:07 p.m. And we'll have a waning moon 61% visible. Stay with us, we've got fishing updates from Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana. Plus, I'll be back with your Ask the Pro question a little bit later with fishing legend Guy Aker. Have a great weekend, everyone.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors. Buy quality award-winning Tracker boats. Fish the finest. Lawrence, maker of the HDS, high-definition systems, and Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Hey, there's a little hope it's a crappie. Hey, welcome back everybody. This is your Southwest Outdoors Report. It is a crappie, came out of pretty deep water. You gonna fight me at all? Boy, when they come out of deep water, they don't do much. Hey, we're at Lake Ray Roberts today, and we're fishing brush piles. And let me explain to you a little bit about what's going on. That fish, he's not very big, and I'm not gonna keep fish today, so back he goes. Let me explain to you, we've got extremely hot surface temperatures around our region. In a lot of parts of our region, we're over 90 degrees at the surface. We've got a thermocline going on. In fact, let me show you what a thermocline looks like on my Lawrence HDS sonar here. You can see kind of where my finger is. Below that line, there's little or no oxygen. So all the fish and all the bait have to be above that line. And you can see the bait and the scattered fish above that line. Now, the other bad thing that's happening is right at the surface layer, the water temperature is so hot there's not much oxygen there as well. So the fish have a very thin layer of water that they have to stay in. So what we've done is driven around out here and we found some brush piles in that zone, which is in about 17 to 20 feet of water. Now I'm going to show you another shot here on the Lawrence HDS of what one of these brush piles looks like. On the left side of your screen, that's the regular 2D look. On the right side of your screen is the structure scan look. That's a 3D structure scan image of what this brush pile looks like, and it's so clear that you can actually see the actual limbs and the branches of this brush. We're going to talk some more about why they're attracted to it and how you fish it, what kind of tackle you need a little bit later. Right now though, let's start your regional fishing reports. Let's go to Louisiana first. Here's Cajun Phil and Kevin.
Well, I tell you what, while the western part of our state is really suffered as far as the low water conditions go, doesn't seem to be any problem over in the Atchafalaya Basin. Got several phone calls today from folks of mine that live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They're catching lots of fish. As far as the bass goes, lots of bass are being caught in the Atchafalaya Basin right now, and it doesn't seem to matter whether you're going up and down the canals, fishing the banks, fishing the cuts, or what. Spinner baits and buzz baits are killers right now on the Atchafalaya Basin.
Well, I'll tell you what, friends, these guys come down fishing with me every year. They usually fish 2 to 3 days. This trip here, we fished 2.5 days. We went out the first 2 days. We brought in approximately 150 trout redfish mixed over the first 2 days. This morning, we fished about 4 hours. Got a good mix of some nice trout and redfish here. You know, right now out here on Calcasieu Lake, soft plastics early and late, top water if you want to try to catch a big fish, but most of the fish are coming off live shrimp and live mullet. When the wind blows, you got to fish tight to the shoreline and really work a little harder at it. But I tell you what, if it's calm, get out there and work the birds, drift the reefs in the open water. The Gulf Jetties is good right now. The close-in rigs, just lots of great fishing action. See y'all next week here on the Fox Outdoor Report.
In the brush, there he come out. What is it? This feels bigger than a crappie. Oh yeah. Largemouth. Largemouth. There we go. Hey, that shows you right there that more than just crappie run to these brush piles. You could catch anything in these Corps of Engineers brush piles, not only on this lake, but in lakes all around our region. You could catch a white bass, you could catch a catfish, largemouth bass, a lot of crappie. Everything migrates to this cover and this brush out there in deep water when the water temperature gets this hot. All right, multi-species in the brush pile. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to have your Texas freshwater fishing report with Brian Hughes, the Lone Star Lakes. We've got much more from Ray Roberts coming back at you.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Abu Garcia for life, by Navionics. Enjoy Navionics anytime, anywhere. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors.
There's a bump, got it. All right. Boy, you can see it has slicked off out here and gotten hot, 100 degrees, but there's a crappie. Not too bad. All right. Hey, let's talk just a minute here. By the way, we're on Ray Roberts fishing brush piles today. Just catching some, well, those are keeper crappie, but they're barely keepers. Nothing what I would call big at all, but hey, you could get a mess out of that. One of the critical things about fishing these brush piles is you must fish them vertically. And if you cast at these, you're going to get snagged every time. So the trick is you need to get straight up and down over the top of the brush pile. Now I've got this one marked with a buoy. You can see the buoy laying right out here beside the boat. And all I'm going to do is open my bail, drop it straight down over the side of the boat, let it free spool down into the brush or right on top of the brush. Now as long as I'm vertical, then I'm going to be able to work this bait without it getting snagged. So once it hits the bottom, I take up the slack, gently lift it. I want to feel that brush if I can. Once I feel it, just give it a little hop about once every 30 seconds. And the hop consists of a downward motion and popping it right back into the same place. It's not an upward hop. That's the way you fish it, but the most important thing about brush pile fishing is you must fish straight up and down. If the wind is blowing at all, you've got to get on your trolling motor, hold that bow into the wind, and hold your boat perfectly still over the top of the brush. Let's check in right now with the rest of your Texas freshwater fishing reports. Here's Brian Hughes.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Executive Outfitters. Now, one piece of administrative business before we get started. It is time to get your new hunting and fishing licenses. They went on sale Monday the 15th, and you must have your new one as of September 1st of this year. Now, when you get that new fishing license, you may want to go to Lake Athens. The nighttime bass fishing there is just phenomenal. Fish your buzzbaits and or topwaters about 10 feet from the bank. If that's not getting a bite or it slows down, switch over to a black single Colorado blade spinnerbait and run that about 12 feet out from the shore. Run it nice and slow, and you'll catch plenty of bass on Athens. Aquila, down near Lake Whitney, is showing us a lot of catfish right now, and those are coming on the very edges of the timber. Now, we've had a drought in Texas, one of the worst ever. Be sure and call ahead and check to see if your favorite launch ramp is available for use this summer. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Executive Outfitters. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island. Surrounded by pristine bays, estuaries, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico, Port A is truly the fishing capital of Texas. Come fish, golf, and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit the website on the screen. Well, Deepwater continues to give up good catches of speckled trout, as well as oversized redfish. Reports from Sabine Pass to Port Isabel indicate specks are holding close to the granite jetty rocks. Now, at the end of the jetty, some good action for bull redfish is occurring. Good redfish action is beginning to show from beachfront piers when the Gulf roughens up. Anglers fishing the surf from either boat or from shore are catching good specks on live bait and artificial lures. Along the Baller Peninsula, from San Luis Pass to Port O'Connor, as well as Matagorda, St. Joe, Mustang, and Padre Islands, are all giving up good catches of specks on light wind days. Anglers armed with titanium leaders are also catching kingfish and Spanish mackerel. Behind Mustang and Padre Island, redfish are beginning to school. Look for this progression to begin near the mouth of Baffin Bay, around Yarborough, as well as the boat hole. Exit access to the Gulf will occur at Packery Channel or Port Aransas jetties. This weekend, Saturday's a 3-tide day with 2 low tides and just 1 high. This Sunday has a single tide schedule of 1 high and 1 low. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Early this spring, the Arkansas River that runs through the central part of Arkansas had some real flooding problems, really messed up the fishery for quite some time. However, since then, that river has settled down and gone back to the fishery that it's always been, which is fantastic. So let me highlight for you the Arkansas River on the Lowrance HDS10, the big widescreen high-res unit that I use here on my Nitro bass boat. And we're going to locate the stretch of the Arkansas River that runs between Little Rock and Pine Bluff. Some of the best water is right in the city of Little Rock. So we zoom there and switch to the Navionics Hot Maps Platinum chart for some good detail. The railroad bridge right in town is the bridge in yellow at the bottom right hand of your screen. Now, we look for rock riprap like you'll find in this area on the north shore of the river to find the bass. We zoom in for a more accurate and detailed look at some of the wing dams that are covered in riprap along that north shoreline. There are a lot of these up and down the river system around Little Rock. Plus, the shallow water around the islands and oxbows will also hold bass. Now, your best technique is going to be casting crankbaits along that rock riprap and pitching a Jean LaRue biffle bug around every visible stump and pier that you can find. It's a great fishery, the Arkansas River at Little Rock. That's this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day. Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. Costa Del Mar Sunglasses. See what's out there. And by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We're talking about brush pile fishing today at Lake Ray Roberts, and several other lakes around the region have these Corps of Engineers brush piles. You can see right in front of me here, I've got a good brush pile marked with the marker buoy. There's one. Fishing vertically straight down, trying to catch crappie, but you also saw that I caught a largemouth bass. Oh, that's a little better crappie. And when you reel them up from that deep, they get the bends, which basically paralyzes their muscles, so they're not going to fight much until they get up in your hands. That would be another keeper crappie. Haven't caught a lot of big ones today. Back he goes. Let's talk about why these fish do this. We've talked earlier about the fact that they're looking for oxygen. That's the #1 factor involved which means the brush has got to be above the thermocline, which here is about maybe 25 feet deep. So you got to fish above that and below the top layer, which is the hottest layer of water, and it has the least amount of oxygen in it. So anything from, let's say, 10 to about 25 feet is going to be the range where these crappie are going to be. That's the brush you're looking for. The next reason they get there, though, is because they love cover. They like to get up next to or inside something. So the crappie will literally bury their nose into the brush, and they'll look outward. And that's the third factor here, is they use it for an ambush point. They wait for these little threadfin shad and minnows to swim by, and they use it to run out, grab the bait, and then run right back into the brush and hide. It's the survival of the fittest down there, and that's what's happening down in these brush piles. Let's move along right now and check in with Gary Dallahan in Oklahoma.
The FLW Championship was last weekend on Lake Ouachita near Hot Springs, Arkansas, and most of the anglers in that field were throwing topwater baits throughout the day, targeting sunfish bedding areas. Those bass were in there feeding on those sunfish that were in the spawn. Zara spooks, pop-Rs, and a soft plastic rigged weightless such as the LaRue Salt Flicker are really good choices for that type of fishing, and I point that out because Oklahoma has several areas that are very similar to that and doing the same thing right now. A really good choice is Broken Bow Lake. Good reports coming in for topwater, largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass. Again, fish shallow, but also watch for those schooling bass out in open water too. Crappie fishing, two places I want you to take a look. Lake Eufaula down in the dam area, and also Lake Oologah. Concentrate 15 to 20 feet deep and look for cover down at that depth. Can be an old brush pile, can be a log, or any type of structure you see, but get that crappie jig down there. If you can't find cover down there, fish a slight contour, but really look at that 15 to 20 foot depth for that. Special congratulations to Oklahoma's Jason Christie for the great top 10 finish at that FLW Championship. One thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Hey, one more thing I promised that we would do before we left here today is to show you my popping technique on how to get your lure unsnagged in the highly likely event that you do get it hung in one of these thick brush piles like the ones we're fishing at Ray Roberts today. So I've pitched out there at a 45-degree angle, and sure enough, my bait is firmly snagged. Now the first thing I'm going to do is get on my trolling motor and troll until I'm right straight up and down vertical over the top of the bait. Do not try this until you're straight up and down over the top of your lure. Once you are, open your bail, give yourself some slack, reach up, grab your line, loop it under the fingers of your left hand. Then grab the line with one of the fingers of your right hand, pull it down, pull tight, and shoot it like a bow and arrow. Sometimes you have to do it 4 or 5 times, and bingo, it comes loose real easy. It'll work almost every time, as long as you don't pull and bury that hook into the brush. So the first time you feel that brush, stop, pull up over the top, grab that line with your left hand, one finger of the right hand, aim it at the lure, pop it 4 or 5 times, and most likely it will come loose, saving you a lot of money in jig heads and jigs. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have your big fish photo on the big catch of the week, your Ask the Pro answer, and the Academy right stuff.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Stren, the standard of dependability, by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits, quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride. Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors, and Mercury Marine.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week comes to us from Gary in Edmond, Oklahoma, who wonders, what is the best topwater to use? For the answer, let's check with Bass Fishing Hall of Fame member Guy Aker.
Probably Zara spook. I catch more fish maybe on a pop-R, but you catch smaller fish. But Zara spook, you catch real nice fish, and I think the spook has probably caught more big fish than any other topwater on the market.
Thanks, Guy. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now let's get you back to Barry for our Whataburger Big Catch of the Week.
There we go. Straight down. All right. About the same size as all the rest of them. All right, well, it's been a good day out here. We're about done. The sun's getting up overhead. It's going to get hotter, and I'm going to get off the water. First, let me congratulate our big catch of the week winner this week. He is Andrew LaCrone of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. He's shown here with, get this, a 10-pound, 2-ounce largemouth bass he caught out of Grand Lake up in the northeastern corner of Oklahoma. If you'd like to enter the contest, go to our website. Top right-hand corner is everything you'll need to register to become a member. It's free. You'll have a chance to send in your big fish photo, read my weekly blog, send in your Ask the Pro question, check in on the Chevy Kid Fish events near you, and much more. Also, let me remind you that next week's show is a little bit of a strange schedule. In the Houston area, we've got a special time, 8 p.m. Thursday night. Throughout the rest of the region, the show will be on at 10:45 p.m. We'll be on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Set your DVR for the Saturday airing because it never changes. Also, watch for the latest episode 24/7 at our website. Watch all of our past episodes at our YouTube channel at youtube.com. And one last thing, you can always see our latest content, comments, photos, video that you'll never see here on the television show on our Facebook page, facebook.com. Search for Southwest Outdoors Report with Barry Stokes. Time right now for the Academy Right Stuff feature, where we tell you what you'll need to catch these fish, and I always like to catch crappie on a spinning rod. This is about a 6-foot medium action Fenwick HMX graphite rod rigged on a little Abu Garcia Soren spinning reel. I use 8-pound test Stren original line so I can watch my line, and the bait is a little Bobby Garland, and it's a heavy-headed. This is a big 1/8 ounce Moglow head, and it's got a baby shad body, and I love that little translucent blue and pearl color like we've been using today. Thanks for joining us today from Lake Ray Roberts, Texas. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.